If you told me that somebody had never encountered a movie or television episode, let alone comic books, what have you, where two people swapped bodies, I would be highly skeptical to say the least. It's just such a common theme these days that you expect everybody to be exposed to it. But in movies, comic books, again, what have you, it's always resolved very neatly. At some point, the characters figure out how to change bodies back, or possibly they prefer the body that they're in, and so they get to keep the new body. Regardless, there's no deeper thought on what it means to be in this new body. But welcome back to Get Smart with Rory, and today I'm going to be talking about the logic that you have to deal with if two people actually swapped bodies. In the 1970s, philosopher Bernard Williams proposed a thought experiment basically along these exact lines. So, within this thought experiment, first, we imagine that we're in a room. In the room with us is one person that we don't care much for, specifically a person that we wouldn't mind seeing tortured, and the torturer. Now, the torturer says, okay, I'm going to swap your bodies and then torture one of you. Who would you like me to torture? Most people, exposed to the idea of body swaps, thinks, okay, so I'm going to be in his body, he's going to be in mine. I don't want to feel pain, so torture my body. Okay, good. I mean, not awesome, but we can deal with this. It happens. We rewind time. Go back. We're back in the room. I'm in my body. He is in his. Torture comes up to me and says, hey, I have to torture one of you two, but I'm merciful, so I'm going to erase whoever I'm going to torture. I'm going to erase the memories of first. Now, it's just a little different. In fact, it's a lot different because I'm not going to swap bodies with anybody. But I think I don't have to remember anything to feel pain. People with no memory still feel pain. I don't want to feel pain, so torture the other person. Now, some of you probably are already getting the gist of where there's an issue, but hang on to that for a second, because we're going to take it a step further. In the next scenario, the torturer comes to me and says, okay, so I have to torture one of you. I'm going to erase both of your minds before we do this, but then I'm going to convince you that you are the other person. I am going to give you, through my magical technology, all of his genuine memories and thoughts, and he yours. Now, who do you want me to torture? Extrapolating from the second idea, you think, okay, if I had no memories, I would still feel pain. And if I've given someone else's memories, well, I'm still me, right? You've just made me crazy somehow. That person can believe that they're a dolphin. It doesn't mean they're not going to feel pain if I torture them. So, you've made me crazy. As a crazy person, I will feel pain. I don't want to feel pain. Torture the other person. That is, the person in the other body. But then, if you're paying attention, I'm sure some of you realize the issue. As far as any outside observer can tell, the first situation and the third situation are exactly the same. We don't know in the first situation how you swapped bodies, but if I have all of their genuine memories and I meet somebody afterwards, that person is going to be convinced that I swapped bodies with the other person, and the how isn't going to matter to them. And that's not even the only scenarios that we can consider. If instead of saying, I'm going to swap your memories, I say, I'm going to use my medical technology, super advanced future fancy stuff. I'm going to pull out your brain and I'm going to move it and put it into his body and his brain into your body. Now, if the brains are swapped, are you crazy? Or is the brain somehow the receptacle of your thoughts? In this situation, have you actually been moved to the other body? I think that most people would say yes. So in the case where we move brains, suddenly you want your original body tortured, right? Because you are the other person? Maybe, maybe not. But then we can take it even further. I mean, there's really no end to the different twists on this scenario if you want to think about it. And so I really like, what if we take your brain, move it to the other person's body, the other person has their brain moved to your body, and then we're going to go back to the third scenario. You're going to have memories from both brains wiped, all thoughts, thought patterns, both brains turn to a blank slate, and the memories, thought patterns, everything of a personality from the other person put into your brain. Your brain, which is in the other person's body. So, to an outside observer at this point, although your brain is in their body and their thoughts are both in the same place. Only your brain is the thing that is different. So, that's the question. Which person do you torture? I suppose I could have cheated and made that the would you rather for the week, but even for me, it's a little bit dark. Even so, I am curious to hear what you think. I'd love to hear from you in comments down below. It's as good a place as any. Although you can also find me on Facebook and various other things. I'm trying to get a Discord set up. But in the meanwhile, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe. Don't forget to click that notification bell. And until next time, see ya.